and this is the podcast where we drink and smoke, and normally we'll bullshit about the life of a historic criminal. Today we're going to do things a little bit different, but before we get into that, let me introduce my guest today. So first with us, I got J-Bone.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
And then also with us, we got the Duke, Dan the Man Levitan.
What up, you fucks?
So glad you said fucks.
What's something new? I'm just tripping it up and call
Right.
people fucks now.
You said, and I was like, oh man.
Oh, yeah, it could have went a couple of ways.
Yes, sir.
I hope that was a good
Oh,
run. I
man.
hope you guys
Yes.
enjoyed it because we're done here.
Heads up, old Danny Negative in a fucking mood. So, don't know
Somebody
where
needs
I'm
a
going to go.
Snickers bar.
Yeah.
What we're going to do today is normally we break down one criminal and we do his whole life, and that's all we cover. While we're doing that, while I'm doing a lot of reading, a lot of time I stumble into some of these other things or stories or situations that are interesting, but it doesn't really fit into the format of the show. I mean, for one, we're averaging a whole episode's kind of long to produce, so we're averaging an episode every other week. So I figured this is a way we could tell some of those stories that we usually skip over and help get out weekly content.
That doesn't mean that these are filler episodes, people. We're still bringing the fucking ruckus.
Yeah, you gotta listen hard for the substance.
Yeah, you know? Sometimes we do people, but there's other nouns, you know? There's places and things.
But as usual, we still got some drinks. Start with you, J-Bone. Would you bring the drink today?
Today I went with Modelo Negro, which is like the darker version of Modelo Especial. Comparable to like our Guinness and like stouts, not as stouty. Still robust, but not as earthy, but very good dark,
Yeah.
if you will.
Well, and you're big on the Modelo's and you're a cerveza drinker.
See.
Dan, what do you got?
Well, he went a little south of the border. I'm staying local. Another good old Michigan classic. I'm going with the Griffin Claw, which is my favorite house from Harry Potter. Rawr! That's what griffins sound like. And I'm going with Norm's Raggedy Ass IPA. It's got a donkey mooning you and smoking a cigar on the can, and we know how I like can artwork, so that's what I'm going with. And it's a good 7.25%, so I'm gonna get a little fucked up.
You like can artwork. I like silly ass name. So raggedy ass, anything like that. Anything that's got any beer's got a ridiculous.
It hits
name.
all the demographics, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it is awarded the World Beer Cup for the 2010 Best IPA.
Nice.
So, you know, it's got some accolades and whatnots.
Well, no, I think that raggedy ass is I think it's Griffin Claw's like it's their flagship beer. I know that.
Yeah, I dig it.
Well, I went IPA too. So today I got this Rochester Mills Beer Company, which is another local one. It's a Juice Bigelow Hop Gigolo.
Word.
Look out now.
All right, well, we'll get started. And today we're going to be covering the Mongrel Mob.
This ain't negotiation time. This is Scarface. Final scene. Fucking bazookas under each arm. Say hello to my little friend.
Alliteration, I like that.
Yeah,
Words.
big fan of alliteration, man.
Words.
So the Mongrel Mob was started in Hastings City in the Hawke's Bay region of New Zealand in the early 1960s.
All right. A little bit of
They
New
really
Zealand,
They ran the Kiwi racket back then, like
eh? They were the Kiwi Kings. Now, how many did they start off with? Because you got to have a lot before you call yourself a mob. You can't have like a squad. You can have a few people, but to call yourself a mob, you need them fucking numbers.
there was 4 of them.
Yeah.
Well, we're not yet. We're not a Mongrel Mob. We're just starting.
Yeah.
We're just in Hastings. So you can see, because I have zero idea of like geography of New Zealand. So like Hastings is the second largest city in New Zealand. So it's inner city and it's got some poor neighborhoods. I just assume when I hear New Zealand that
I think of Lord of
for
the
one
Rings.
I think of
I
Australia.
was about to say, if it's not taking place in Hobbiton, I'm fucking out.
And a lot of the Game of Thrones, like that's the terrain you're looking at.
I
Like,
assume it's this town. It's the second largest. I assume
Yeah.
it's this town, a bunch of mountains of field, then the first largest.
Yep.
And there we go.
So
And then
Frodo and Sambo start this mob that we're talking about.
The Mongrel Mob started basically as a youth street gang. It was started by European Utes.
The
Yeah.
2
I was
Utes.
about to say, it's pronounced Utes.
Yeah. It was started by European Utes, but it's now predominantly Maori.
And what year was this?
62.
Early 1960s.
Word. All right.
I just chose 62 then, I guess. I
mean, that's early,
I thought
whatever.
I heard you say that, but
Hey, roundabouts.
Yeah. Legend has it they acquired the name when a Hastings judge in court referred to them as a bunch of mongrels. And then as their numbers grew, they became the Mongrel Mob.
It better have been young Europeans. If there was a bunch of young Maoris at that time, and he was calling a bunch. I mean, we'll put that judge on notice, okay?
Well, I think in the 60s he still would.
Yeah, he
I
would
mean,
have been
So
fine.
this is the 60s. This is one step
honestly,
away.
in the early 2000s, he would have still
Well,
probably.
I mean, that's really 1890s in New Zealand time, though. My bad for any Kiwis listening. I just don't
This
know
was
nothing.
almost one step away from being called the Rapscallion Mob.
Yes.
And they listen too. New Zealand, they be fucking listening.
Well, shit, they were all European. I'm surprised they just didn't call them hooligans.
Right.
They didn't ride bikes, but they adopted a biker club style. So they would start off as associates.
Move up to Prospect.
Yeah, if a sponsored member would bring you on as a prospect, they would keep track of them and they would get to decide when to get patched over. So it was standard biker procedure.
Without the bike.
Without the
Everything but the
bikes.
bike.
Well, I mean, aside from just bike, I feel like that's the way most gangs operate, I would think.
Yeah. So by 1966, they were wearing colors with patches, either as the Mongrel Mob or sometimes as the Mighty Mongrel Mob.
Ooh, they're stepping it up a little bit.
So
Turn that negative into a positive. We might be mongrels, but we're mighty.
their colors are black and red, and their insignia is a British bulldog, often wearing a German Stahlhelm, which is the old German helmets.
Yeah, with
All
the
right.
spike.
So far, I like the marketing. Mongrel
Yeah.
Mob, they got a good old. I mean, I'm not real happy with the helmet situation, but bulldog, good dog. I like it. So far, I'm down with the mob.
Oh, yeah, that's dope for that time.
Oh yeah, that's
that
not
would
what
be
I
a
was thinking.
modern, nice, like logo.
As you can see, it's not the exact style of insignia. It seems like it can vary. I didn't read anything about that anywhere, but when I see all these different patches, and it doesn't vary, it's not like a time frame wise thing. It seems like it's a chapter thing. So it seems like as long as you go with the bulldog.
They still got the same basic line, but hey, switch up the bulldog a little bit. You know what I mean? No two dogs are the same.
The Mongrel Mob members adopted Nazi symbols and the Sieg Heil salute as representation for their gang.
All right, well, someone needs to let them know that that's not cool. All right, I'm putting the Mongrel Mob on notice. We're canceling everybody. The judge, these fucking Nazis. Come on.
They would greet each other with the Sieg Heil. However, they never adopted the Nazi ideology.
Well, I hope not. I hope they weren't burning anybody. Because they adopted all the biker shit, but without the bike. So, like, they could do that, too. Like, hey, we're Nazis to the core, except we ain't making lampshades and we ain't burning nobody.
Well, I mean, that actually is a very like, even in America in the punk scene, and I think even in Europe in the punk scene and stuff, a lot of them did just try to take over a lot of Nazi sort of imagery and everything without the hate to sort of own, which I think is good. Why should they own armbands? You know what I mean?
In a Vice article, a patched mongrel member named Poots Connie
Good name.
said that the usage didn't represent racist views at all. So here's a quote from him. It says, "The swastika was something people hated, and anything to do with insulting people, yeah, the Mongrel Mob was all about it. Growing up, all I ever known is the Mongrel Mob and the swastika, and so I always put the two together. It has never been about anything else," he said. "I have 6 swastika tattoos, and all that comes to mind when I see them is the mighty Mongrel Mob."
Yeah, it is sort of the same thing as the punk scene in the UK, because they're punks, so that's what they did. They took on the Nazi shit just to piss people off and everything. I mean, I don't agree with it. It's still not too good, but
Right.
it makes sense. I see where they're going.
When asked how you explain to someone that their usage of the Nazi symbolism didn't represent racism, he said, "I'd probably just woof at them and let them think what they like, eh? Yeah, I'm not too concerned about what they think. If it pisses them off, that's a bonus."
I'll park right in and let them get right on down the road.
Yeah.
They didn't feel me. Fuck them.
But I love how his excuse is, no, I don't wear this swastika because I'm racist. I'm just a fucking dickhead.
So one of the other things they're notorious for is their face tattoos.
Oh, a little MS-13 action.
Well, see, that's where Maoris and biker gangs collide. Because even without the gangs, Maoris were pretty Mike Tyson about those face tattoos.
Yeah, that's why it was easy to go hard in the paint with that because,
Hard in the ink.
because that's, culturally, that's something we do anyway. So we'll just do it the way that.
With our flavor.
The Mongrel Mob rose to be the largest organized crime organization in New Zealand. They're crazy violent. They had like a always fight policy where you weren't allowed to back down from a fight in any situation. So no matter how many people it was or no matter what the situation were, you were not allowed to run from fights. Eventually they moved into other illegal rackets like manufacturing and distribution of meth.
No way, these guys got into meth? Get out.
And how were they busted a lot? How would you identify somebody like that?
Yeah, how did they
Oh, the
even...
face tattoos.
Australia and New Zealand, they also have much stricter gun rules, and they were always getting caught running guns and stashing, like storing guns. So they're known for weapon stockpiling, and they've racked up tons of firearm violations through raids of firearms caches. So basically, anytime, all they had to do was just bust them, and they know they'd have like 15 guns.
Just stop them. You know they got something on them.
Guns, meth, and face tattoos.
In 2013, 10% of the New Zealand prisons were Mongrel Mob members.
Ooh,
Damn.
like in America.
I like to really point out right now, we got a couple of pictures on the screen. There's one with a plethora of weapons hanging on a wall, and they have a pair of scissors. That's their weapon. They got a whole stack of bats, some machetes, a sawed-off shotgun, then a golf club, and a pair of scissors.
That's symbolic. They're showing you they're cutting through the red tape, bro.
Like, I think at this point, the cops are just trying to bust them. Like,
Right.
any sharp objects we're counting as a weapon.
Although they had rivalries and gang wars with many local biker clubs, including the New Zealand Hells Angels and other street gangs, the primary rival is another New Zealand gang called Black Power.
No way. The guys with swastika tattoos have a problem with black power?
Yeah, but the Black Power guys ain't black either.
How? New Zealand just doesn't know race. They don't know how things work.
Look
What
at
the
it. It's got the fist too.
Yeah.
Look out, mate. We's the Black Panthers.
Listen, we may have black power and the black power fists, but that doesn't mean that we're black. You guys just judge too much. Like, what the fuck is happening in New Zealand? So we have biker gangs without bikes, swastika tattoos, but they're white nationalists.
Nothing racist here, mate.
Yeah.
Nothing to see.
Yeah, why you guys keep on trying to bring race into this? We're only black power fighting the swastika gang.
For decades, the Mongrel Mob was known for avoiding media attention, and access to them was rare. You know, they had a strict, like, no snitching policy. Like, you didn't talk to anybody, nobody outside the neighborhood, you know.
So you couldn't run unless somebody started asking you questions and like, I'm out of here.
It's a large fucking island, though. That's what the country, like, it's funny to hear, like, yeah, don't talk to nobody from other neighborhoods. Like, well, there's 4. So,
Yeah.
stay in your own fucking farm, mate, okay?
Eventually, a native New Zealander and photographer named Jono Rotman was able to arrange unprecedented access to the Mongrel Mob, to learn more about their lifestyle, and take photos of members.
He's waltzed amongst them. He's
Oh.
seen them in the wild.
What he did, he went there and he had a package of hot dogs and he said, come here, are you a good boy? Are you a good boy? And let one of them sniff his hand and then he knew it would be
You know
okay.
what I did, though? I barked at him. I ate the hot dog when I barked at him.
Okay, that first dude straight looks like Crocodile from Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And then the young Palpatine all the way to the end there. Like,
When he took these photos of these guys, he didn't pose any of them. He just was
they
like,
pick their own pose.
yeah, they just did what they want. Stand where you want, do what you want, stand how you want, dress what you want. like,
That's
whatever
kind
you
of
want to
their thing. Wouldn't it be real great if they got one of those crazy, like, the stereotypical fucking, like, supermodel camera guys? Like, yeah, work it. You're a tiger. Give me angry. Now you're happy. Ooh, you opened a present. Good. Feel it.
You're startled. I broke in your house. Bark at me. Bark at me. Bark at me.
Oh no, what's that? Is it a biker? Oh, look out.
Well, and he said the way they got him to do it, they were like, no, you're gonna do like some hit job and tell everybody how terrible we are. And he's like, no, that's not what I want to do. And they're like, what, you're gonna pretend like we're nice, like we're good guys or something? And he's like, no, I just want to say like you
How
guys
can-
are a thing. Like, look at these are people. They're like, oh, all right, well then we'll do it.
Didn't
As
take
long-
much convincing.
As long as you don't say we're gonna be, as long as you don't say we're good.
Don't make us too hard. Don't make us too soft. Make us just right.
What are you gonna do? Try to paint us up like we're some crazy hooligans that got face tattoos? Yeah, all right.
We're
Let
in
the world
then.
know.
But like, you ain't gonna make us look like pussies, are you? All right.
That gentleman on the end ain't a player. He just crushes a lot.
Being that fat with no shirt and a helmet, it's not a good look. He really looks like he's just going to a concert.
Yeah, that's some next level. Not give a fuck. He's like, you know what? No, I'm not wearing a shirt. Where's my helmet?
It's there above your cleavage.
Like, hey, you're not gonna wear anything? Well, yeah, my helmet. Don't
Yeah.
be stupid.
What's funny is he got, I guess, peck tattoos back when they were pecs, because now he got straight up C cups and the lettering has gone under.
Underneath, yes.
So either the tattooist had to literally lift up titties to tattoo them underneath, or he once was a little smaller.
The guy on the other end looks like a fucking orc. Like we mentioned orcs earlier. Like,
Yeah, that's the one with the crazy eye.
and the
They're
dude in the
intense
middle
looking.
looks like he's from Kentucky. He doesn't know his parents went to Australia years ago. They took a little boat over to New Zealand, and he stayed.
He looks like either a grunge singer or someone from Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, so that's what Fred Durst is doing now. He got himself a face tattoo.
Lance Stanley didn't die. He went to New Zealand and got face tattoos.
Alice out of chains.
And that's the first time I ever heard Fred Durst called grunge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very grungy. He's known for his flannels.
Well, his red hat has its own reputation.
His Red Hat did a solo album, and it was way better.
One of the other things that John Rotman wrote about them is, so like I said earlier, they had the biker gang thing, but with no bikes. Now they've gotten to a point at the
Wait, just real quick, what were they driving around? Just normal cars, or did they at least have a cool car club?
We take a fucking bus to the Rumble.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I'm getting to. Like, now you can look up Mongrel Mob bikers, and you will see some. Now, mostly, you will usually see them standing around. Now, there is pictures of them on bikes, because they're roughneck dudes. You know what I mean? And there's biker gangs out there, so there's some chapters that have adopted, like, they do the bike thing, but it's not a biker gang. But he said they do a lot of road rallies, and Jono Rotman was quoted as saying that they typically drive V8 Fords that they call Henrys.
Word.
Fucking Henry Fords.
Fucking Henrys. Or at least so they were more of a car club.
So these are a bunch of their Henrys that got raided. Now, this picture didn't come out good, but see this top one on the side here? This is actually that's a road rally with they're transporting the body of one of their members. And you see all these guys that are out of the car up there. There's a group of Black Power guys that were standing in the way. And so they were getting out to fight.
Well, did they have the funeral flags up there to let them know?
Well, that's what happened. So that this guy was on this ride with them, and they had the road rally had to go through Black Power territory. I guess it didn't turn into a fight, but it was a crazy situation.
Close call is what we call that.
A little bit of a run in there.
But they do drive Henrys. That Ford Raptor is dope.
Well, you know why they drive Henrys.
Why?
Because Hank supported the Nazis back in the day.
That is true, actually.
Yet, little known fact, Henry Ford had swastika tattoos all over his face.
He was the first Maori, asshole. Thanks for letting the secret out. And that's why the Lions suck.
Despite their heinous past, some chapters have made efforts to reform and change the path of the organization. So a lot of chapters have started like community food banks and work programs. Now, the biggest current chapter is the Waikato Mongrel Mob Kingdom. And the president, Sonny Fatupaeato. What's his name? Luckily, he goes by Sonny Fato. Probably Sonny Fatu. He eliminated the Sig Hail from his chapter. They replaced it as a greeting with Mongrel Mob. Instead of saying Sig Hail when they see each other.
They still do the Roman salute, though. They say, Mongrel Mob.
So he's been working towards programs to help fight domestic violence, drug addiction, and programs for youth that are, because they have like in these poor communities. Now, he's had like a lot of his guys, they do like these speaking engagements, and a lot of them, like they talk frankly, like being a part of this gang for years about like rape and getting beat and shit like that. You know what I mean? And like talking about like trying to fix it and shit.
Surprising it goes over well with the fourth graders.
He also began working with politicians and media, as well as sometimes local law enforcement to keep communities safer.
Okay, see, all right, we started this by saying how ass backwards they were. Now this guy takes over a portion of the biker gang that at one point was like, oh, you're just going to make us look good if you take a picture of us, and like, no, I'm going to make you guys look really bad. All right, then. And now this guy's just turning into a community outreach, but like,
we started the Mongrel Ministries.
Yeah, exactly. Like now it went from a biker gang with no bikes, now it's just turned into a church.
I'm asking you to look deep down in your hearts, in your pocketbooks, because Jesus loves you, mate.
Yeah,
you got to tithe. You got to send some this way.
Like, how long was that guy in the gang where he's like, you know what? I'm going to stay in it. This gang where we Sig Heil, we got fucking swastikas and all this shit. Then I'm going to make it all the way to the top and shut all that shit down. Like, this guy was a crazy infiltrator.
He's been in the gang for 33 years.
Yeah, and so for 33 years, he's like, you know what, guys? I think things have to change.
Well, they say one of the big shifts is that a lot of the members have gotten older now. Now, through the first decades, it started off as more of like a youth gang or a street gang.
Now it's a bunch of AARP members.
Now it's a geriatric gang.
Well, the guy that we talked about earlier, Poots Connie, he was 28 years old, and he was a young member. At one point earlier, in the roots of the gang, he would have been like one of the high up guys. That 28 would have been very old for a Mongrel Mob member.
Well, yeah. I mean, how much is that in mongrel years? You know what I mean?
There's only one place you end up, either in prison or in my ministry.
Yeah.
There's not much room for, nobody retires from the Mongrel Mob, okay?
You either become an indoor dog or you get sent to the kennel.
Don't make me back at you. That's all I'm saying, mate, is don't make me back at
You
you.
know what I mean?
Push me to my fucking limits.
I'll tear you up like a rawhide, I will.
In 2019, they gave support to a local mosque after a terrorist attack that resulted in the death of 50 Muslims. They participated alongside rival members and police in memorials, and they guarded the mosque from the outside while they prayed and performed religious ceremonies.
See, it's not that I'm against. I'm all for it. Everything this guy is doing is just so crazy that he was raised in this biker gang and shit, and now he just completely 180'd everything. This is a real roller coaster of emotions. Are we in the upside down? Is that what's happening right now?
So in these pictures, that's a picture of Sonny. Well, there's a couple of them. All these guys over here, they were doing the haka. They were doing the haka in front of the mosque. And then you see this one where you see all these guys touching heads over here. It's called the hongi, and it's like it's a traditional New Zealand sign of unity, like sign of respect or squash beefs or whatever.
See, that's what pit bulls do.
Is it?
I don't know. Every dog I've had, like even Jersey, like just walk up and hit you with their head. That's what they do.
When you see here, you see Mongrel Mob members are doing it. One guy's doing it with a cop, the other one that's a Black Power guy, and then the one is Sonny doing it. With Sonny changing that charter, there's a lot of people that say like them trying to be like good guys and trying to do all this stuff now is like real disrespectful. Like there's like this whole group of it's people that are like victims of their crimes and meth dealings and
their
beatings
roots,
and shit.
Their mission statement is we never found a fight we didn't like, or we can't run from a fight to like.
Well, and we got face tattoos to start fights. Well, now this guy's doing everything in his power to not start fights. Like, are they still doing the swastika tattoos, or did that go away with the?
That went away.
No,
like,
they still.
Oh, really?
You mean Sonny Ratu?
As of right now, I mean, they still do the tattoos and stuff. They just don't do the Sikh Hail sign because they used to do it like all the time. Say Sikh Hail and do the. So they scrapped that, but they still have that. He has done like there was a time where they were doing something in the Black Power area, and there was like a big media thing if there's going to be problems. And at one point he said he's instructed his people not to do like even the ones that aren't in his, because he's only the president. He's not the national president or anything.
He's a chapter president.
Yeah, he's president of that chapter.
Yeah.
But
He's in charge of the Wakanda chapter.
So he said, look, I told our guys not to seek hail or to bark at the Black Power people, but we don't micromanage our members.
Things you tell your dog.
Like the exact quote was, we've told our members not to say Sig Hail or bark.
For this weekend.
That's
it.
Or they called it woof. They wouldn't Sig Hail or woof.
No, woof woof.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're still getting Nazi face tattoos, the no Sig Hail thing is kind of a half measure.
Where Sonny's chapter has kind of changed their mission statement. There's still a lot of Mongrel Mob chapters that are still completely that disagree. They still do the Sig Hail. And there's been a lot of exodus for people that left the chapter to go join other gangs.
Well, yeah, I mean, they joined it to start fights, and now this guy's like, yeah, we're not going to fight as much. People are like, didn't we do a mobster on this? Like, he took over a family and said he didn't want to be as violent. He wanted to be more, he wanted to do like what this guy is saying, like, stop doing a lot of more legal shit and start doing real businesses.
They keep bringing me back in.
Well, no, it was the other gang, the other family was like, this weak little bitch, we're going to stab him in the throat.
It was one of the Terra Novas, and yes, they thought he was a coward. Like, this guy's soft.
Exactly.
And slow. That's what they thought. Like, this guy's soft, and he don't know what he's doing. Like, he's talking about not fighting.
We got to get Fredo.
All right, that's the history of the Mongrel Mob.
So say good night to the bad guy. Go on. The last time you're going to see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you.
Oh, that's it up to date?
Woof, woof.
Yep, that's what we got.
Woof. So that guy's still in charge doing his thing?
Yeah.
Bringing good to the world?
Now, real quick.
Yeah, as of 2020. Well, okay, so their big thing right now, they've been in the news a lot. They had a big making ceremony that people were saying they shouldn't have did because like COVID or whatever. Like they were gathering without masks.
Well, that was their
most recently
tattooed face masks, so they're good.
To be fair, New Zealand has one of the best COVID control. Like they don't have a big, huge hot spot.
Well, they all have permanent half masks on, so of course.
Right. I'm just saying if that would be like the most recent news, if you were to search them, is they had a big. There was one guy I seen
They haka 6 feet away.
A reporter got to sit in on a patching ceremony and report on it, but he didn't get to take footage of it. But he did have like a picture. So like they're still secretive on some of the stuff. But the guy that got made, his dad was a Mongrel Mob member, and he brought his dad's ashes to the patching ceremony because he said he knew his dad would have always been proud to see him with that bulldog on his back.
Oh, I'm a
Yes.
legacy bulldog. I mean, that makes sense if you're in that world. Now, real quick, isn't there also an American mongrel gang?
No, the Mongols.
Mongols. Oh, all right.
That's
Yeah.
the Hell's Angels.
Well, no, I thought
big
there was
rival.
also another mongrel, but
I mean, there
There's
could
only
be.
one, mate.
there's
And we
only
just
one.
fucking heard about him. You and the rest of the world just fucking learned about him.
Yeah,
What you mean there's another one?
there ain't no other ones.
They broke the fucking mold, mate.
How many swastika-bearing non-racists is there?
Oh yeah, so we still never hit the. So you can go follow us on Instagram, Bad Guy Podcast on Instagram.
Check out all these sweet-ass tattoos.
Well, all the pictures that we see we'll have on the Instagram, so you can check those out there.
They're worth checking out, folks.
And then you can email us at sayhello-to-the-bad-guy-podcast@gmail.com.
Send us a little electronic letter.
And we have the Facebook group now, so you can follow us on Facebook. Say hello to the Bad Guy Podcast on Facebook, and basically all the social medias. You guys got anything before we go?
Just a big woof woof to the world.
No, we don't do that no more. It's banned.
I'm a rebel. I'm not listening to Tukey Tutu. Fuck him.
All right, this is Say Hello to the Bad Guy. Thanks for coming, and thanks for listening.
Yeah, my words are concrete and solid as the truncated snare on a drum beat. Solid as the sound of gun claps in the cross streets. We puffin' on the smoke of genocide and we all chief. More solid than Nostradamus' ominous forecast. I'm spitting in all caps, you listening all fast. I'm talking about airstrikes, ranks, mines, missiles, tanks, kids in bandanas and masks, waving pistols and max. We'll overthrow the government one day. Matter of fact, grab a gun, we'll see you next Sunday. I'm the antithesis of conformity. I can weather the storm, storm like the beach in Normandy. I'ma ring the alarm like my blood is thicker than boat rope, thicker than a brick. Put the game in a chokehold, thicker than the water under refugees' hope floats. I'm thicker than the cake in the Dominicans' coke notes. Yeah, my soul is darker than warfare and heavy as the chassis on a 62 Corvair. Slipping through the cracks, you know the system ain't all fair. I had to steal a 50 just to get me some bus fare. I'm out of here.
Hybrid, 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 hybrid.
You gon' do what? No, you not. Stop it. All them guns you told you never pop it. Heavy hustle when you need it, I got it. Heavy drip when I want it, I cop it. In the club, she rubbing on my pockets. Only trick I know is making a profit. All money in, only making deposits. Smoking on jet fuel, I'm nitro to rocket. You gon' do what? No, you not. Stop it. All them guns you told you never pop it. Heavy hustle when you need it, I got it. Heavy drip when I want it, I cop it. In the club, she rubbing on my pockets. Only trick I know is making a profit. All money in, only making deposits. Smoking on jet fuel, I'm nitro to rocket. You niggas be faking and fronting and playing games. Address me as Nitro, know that I'm active. I rep Pop Bread, don't forget the name. You niggas is jealous, you niggas is envious. Hating ass niggas want me to lose. How can you not feel me? I'm chasing a milli, I'm getting the bag and I'm spreading the loot. From a Honda Civic to a Bentley Coupe, from a dented top to a chopped roof. You niggas be broke, how the fuck we got problems? And how can we beef when we got nothing in common? Say you got killers, well fucking go call them. Smoking on jet fuel and afraid of no call. First nigga from the west doing drill shit. Nitro next to blow, I got a kill switch. Can't find you, then we hit who you deal with. Where the bum be, that's some trill shit. Always on go, I'm the fucking GOAT. Got 100 flows, nigga, no joke. All the OGs showed me the ropes, and I give back, I get a hood hope. If a op want smoke, then I tell the nigga run up. I'ma go get I grind to the sun up. Nitro got next, I'm the best on the come up. You gon' do what? No, you not. Stop it. All them guns you told you never pop it. Heavy hustle when you need it, I got it. Heavy drip when I want it, I cop pop it. In the clubs, you rubbing on my pockets. Only trick I know is making a profit. All money in, only making deposits. Smoking on jet fuel, I'm nitro to rocket. You gon' do what? No, you not. Stop it. All them guns you told you never pop it. Your heavy hustle when you need it, I got it. Heavy drip when I want it, I cop it. In the clubs, you rubbing on my pockets. Only trick I know is making a profit. All money in, only making deposits. Smoking on jet fuel, I'm nitro to rocket. Since a young nigga, we been getting jiggy. We gon' mob out, pop out, we're slitty. I'm the king of my coast, fuck king of the city. Niggas been plotting, heard they trying to get me. And niggas been flocking, they think that we empty. Full automatics, we don't do no semis. You come through this door, you gon' get the whole 50. Swear to God, I'm the hottest nigga from the west. I need a meal off the deal, nigga, nothing less. Where I'm from, you had to fight to get your respect. You follow protocol, you tell them you accept. My hands been famous, nigga, quiet as kept. And all that loud shit, get you a cave chest. They shooting heads, so I rock a vest. I heard karma, bitch, that got no regrets. Say what I want because this how I feel like. Niggas gon' judge you, salute them, they still might. Niggas freestyle, I know, but I still write. Nitroactive, nigga, I push my own line. This rocket talk, you better know that it's go time. Taking a coast over, nigga, with no cosign. The homies blood, but the king crip. I'm from the west side, but got the east lit. I'm the definition of this hybrid shit. You gon' do what? No, you not. Stop it. All them guns you told you never pop it. Your heavy hustle when you need it, I got it. Heavy drip when I want it, I cop it. In the clubs, you rubbing on my pockets. Only trick I know is making a profit. All money in, only making deposits. Smoking on jet fuel, I'm nitro to rocket. You gon' do what? No, you not. Stop it. All them guns you told you never pop it. Your heavy hustle when you need it, I got it. Heavy drip when I want it, I cop it. In the clubs, you rubbing on my pockets. Only trick I know is making a profit. All money in, only making deposits. Smoking on jet fuel, I'm nitro to rocket.